My chat testing 1 2 3. Check. So I make sure we are good and we are rolling. I think we're good now. I'm gonna just double check and make sure we're hearing sound. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another IBZ Films live stream. I was gonna, like I said, check and make sure I can hear. Yep. We're all good. I can hear it now. Okay. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Today is going to be a pretty, I don't have like one specific thing I want to show. I want to kind of touch a lot of different things. This is great for people who are new to Davinci Resolve. Even if you aren't new, there might be some things that you didn't already know, but that's kind of the focus we're touching on today. Some of the different ways I like to do things, getting started in the program. Feel free to ask questions. If you have any specific questions about anything, feel free to ask as we go. We're going to go ahead and hop in here. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and hop into a project. All right, so here we are, Davinci Resolve 21. I'm still working in the public beta. So let's see what we got. Well, one of the things that I really like to do one of the things that I feel like helps to get one of the things that I believe helps really be effective in any editing program, but it's like learning your way around the program, like what things do what buttons do what, things like that, to really help you get started and help set you up like well for the future. One of those things I like to do is get my effects. For one thing, let me show you kind of how things work. If you're like, completely brand new to Davinci Resolve, and if I say anything that doesn't make sense to you, please let me know, and I'll try to break it down and explain it. This is a good one to know for anyone coming over from Adobe Premiere or anything like that. The way that Davinci Resolve's timeline works, I'll say the UI, I guess if you want to call it that, the interface, the way this works is a little bit different. It's not quite as customizable as Adobe Premiere is. So you can't just kind of grab things and move things around. You can do a few things. So one thing, if you want to make things bigger or smaller, or give yourself more space, you usually can click on these buttons up here. So inspector is what you're going to need to use to interact with your footage, essentially. So you have your transform and you have your zoom and y-axis and all that stuff, which helps you to like zoom in on an image and move things around like that, which is, pretty straightforward. That's nothing I would say spectacular or something that wouldn't be known. One of the ways I quickly reset things is there's two ways you can do it. So when you zoom in on like a image and you want to undo whatever you did within Davinci Resolve, if you hover over the name of the property that you just changed and double click it, it will reset it. So you see they went back to its original position. Same thing here. You can also do it by pushing each one of these reset buttons here. That also does it. And then there's a master one that resets all of your changes at one time. If you hit this one at the top, it has the plus in the middle, and it just resets everything. So, that's cool to know. Another thing that's slightly different with this program versus like a Adobe Premiere or something like that is cropping is built into the clip already. You don't have to go like searching for that. So if you want to crop an image, all you have to do is just look in the inspector, and under transform, you'll see it. You can kind of just crop and do whatever you want to do with that. If you want to soften it, you can do that as well. And you might be able to kind of create some cool effects with that, depending on what it is you're trying to do. Like if you want to stack multiple clips together or something like that, that might be a cool little thing to do. Something like this. Let me grab another clip. I'm going to stack it on top here. Oh, why didn't it grab it? So we see it. And I'm going to crop in. Same kind of thing. You know, and then you can kind of position things differently, slide them around. Got my crop, my softness. So, you know, you can kind of like get creative and do some different things. You want to do some staggering or stacking and stuff like that. That's one of a cool way. That's something you can do. One of the other things, reset this. You can collapse all of these. So if you click on them, the names of each category, it will collapse them. A lot of times when we're doing like a video, you know, if you have a shot that's like not moving, that's very static, you can, you know, do like your keyframes and like zoom, which is something that, you know, is probably very normal, you know, for people who edit in any program. When I clicked those red diamonds like that, it basically set it to record the movement that I'm getting ready to put in here. So I'm going to move forward to where I want the movement to stop. And it'll be here. And then I'm going to basically set my frame up to how I want it to be framed up at the end. But now I'll go back. And if you click here on this little like caret that goes to the left, it'll like take you back to where your other keyframe is. And then there's a way to actually like see stuff. So if you click on the keyframes button here at the top left, the top middle of your frame, it will show you the keyframes that you have programmed. You can see on the transform. So it kind of mirrors this a little bit. So transforms here, you have transform here at the top. Then you have all the other settings, your rotation angle, pitch, yaw, and all that stuff. So what I'm doing over here is being displayed over here on the left side in my keyframes panel. And then you can see you have cropping. It matches with this. Then you have composite, which is right there. Dynamic zoom's not there, which, you know, makes sense. I'll show you what that is in a second. You have your speed for your time ramping and all that stuff. But yeah, so we're going to hit play here. You can see here where it is. And you see our pushing happening. And it's going to follow the path that I gave it, essentially. So this is one of those cool ways, you know, you can create movement in a shot that didn't have movement originally. There was a little bit of panning that we did on this shot. We do this to zoom in on it. You know, that was pretty cool, actually. You can tweak things as well. That has that all set up. You can tweak things, and like move it back and forth, left and right if you want to as well. If you wanted it to go like start sooner or stop later, or whatever the case may be. You can adjust the keyframe curve. Let me make sure I get this right. It's a little confusing. If you want more real estate, you can pull this over to kind of give yourself a little bit more space. I'm just going to do that to help us see. And then I'm basically just zooming out by holding down the Alt key and spinning on my wheel. You can also zoom in and out this way as well by using this slider here at the top. But you can grab it and you can kind of like tweak it. But you see you have like linear, and then you have ease in and ease in and out. So let's just go ahead and hit these. I'm going to do ease in and out. And you can see that when I hit ease in and out, it's not as linear as it was, where basically it just goes straight from point A to point B. The two different keyframes I set up, it goes from point 1 to point 2 at a constant rate, like linear. But if you hit these, you can make it ease in, or you can make it ease out, or you can do ease in and ease out, which is what I wanted to do. And if you want to play around with that, you have your handle here. You can kind of shape that, make that more of a S curve if you wanted to, something like that. Oh, I'm messing that up. Same thing. Same thing with this. You can kind of tweak that some more, whatever you want to do. So that's how that works. And you go to that spot, and it just kind of goes in slower, and it's just kind of make it seem a little bit more gradual and more natural. Another way that you can do this, close all this up. Get my inspector back. Another way that you can do this and achieve a similar result, which is kind of how I prefer to do it if I'm using keyframes in the way I just showed you. And I just reset them. I just came over here and hit reset, so now all the keyframes are gone. You come over here and see that your keyframes are, that they are now gone. But yeah, if you want to mess with keyframes, that's how you can get to them and how you can edit them and tweak them and all that. But I prefer using dynamic zoom. I talk about this all the time, but it's one of my favorite ways to do it. I will say this, I'm gonna show you some things you might want to consider with dynamic zoom, because once you turn it on, it's just on for that clip. So you have to tell it you want dynamic zoom on. So I just turned it on, and you can make it linear, you can ease in, ease out, all that stuff. Now here's the thing. It starts at the beginning of the clip and it ends at the end of the clip. So if I want to have control over it to move in a certain section, I have to make sure I'm cut for that. So I'll just show you a couple ways of how this would work. Let me reset this. I'll turn it off right now. So we'll start it here. When he's like looking at him, he comes in. And what I'm going to do is basically make a cut here. Get rid of this part. We don't need that. And then I'm going to go over to the ending where I want it to end. We'll have it end here when he walks up to him before he starts talking. So that'll be our ending point. So now when I turn it on, it'll be exactly, we've already cut it to be exactly in the position that we want it to be. So it starts when you first put on dynamic zoom, it starts going from in, it zooms out. So it starts in and then zooms out. So you can swap that though. So I'm going to do a zoom in. I'm going to hit swap and it's going to start out and then zoom in. And it's doing it by itself. So I like this because it's a good natural way to add movement without having to do the whole keyframing thing, which is nothing wrong with keyframes, but this is just a fast way of doing it, and it's like done. Now, if we want to control it, like that didn't do too bad, but if we want to control like how it goes and how it moves, we can tell it what we want it to do. We can kind of like, we still have some control here. So what you do is you come over here to the bottom and you see where of your player here, and you see where it shows you, it says transform here. You see this little caret pointing down. You click on that and you click on dynamic zoom. So now this is kind of like a virtual interactive mode that it goes into, and you can basically control what the frame is doing. So this is showing you two variations of what this frame is going to look like. So imagine it's telling you like, this is where you start the full frame, and we can change that too. We can make it start closer in if we wanted to, but it's fine where it is. And it basically is going to go from here to here. So you can see like where it's framed at. So almost kind of like imagine it like, if you look at the red, you can kind of like do this to kind of give yourself a reference. Like this is where it's going to end at in terms of headroom. But if we want to tweak that, we can. Like if we wanted to go even more like closer in, we can make this box smaller. And then we can like even move this over some more and get our framing to be like, we want him to be more centered up a little bit. So now let's just kind of see what that looks like. You can play like this. I will usually turn it off, but you can leave it. And it also moves faster now because it has more distance to cover in a shorter period of time. So it's going to get to the end of that animation. And if we make it bigger, if we make the distance that has to go bigger, it will go faster basically. But yeah, just like that is done, which is pretty cool. And it even got our X and it has our zoom and our X and Y position as well. So I was able to kind of tweak it to go slightly up. If I want more headroom, I can do that. Give ourselves even more headroom. Let's play through again. I will a lot of times click this off so I don't get confused. And you see how that's just playing through, which is really cool. I like how it does that. This playback is, let me see if I can get at least half resolution. Which to me makes the shot even more dynamic. You can feel it more. Like it feels very natural. You can also like tweak it some. So if it was going linear, but you can make it go ease in and ease out. So let's say I just wanted to do like I'll do an ease in and out. So it'll kind of like ramp up. It doesn't just jump right into the motion. And the middle will get faster, but it will have a more, it won't feel as mechanical basically. And then it's going to slow down to come to the stop. It's not going to just abruptly stop. It's going to like ease into the stop. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that. So that's one of my favorite tools to use. So if you're new to Davinci Resolve, that's something that I think is a really big thing to do, especially if you do a lot of like repositioning with camera and camera movement and post like zooms and stuff like that. This is a really good one to use, in my opinion. Is there anything else I want to say about that? Have any questions? No. All right. Oh, something else I was going to show you about that. If you the thing that can get kind of wonky is if like you have your speed down the way you want it and you're trying to like I'm gonna try to show you. Maybe you want, let me just show you. It came off the frame because it didn't have enough, but you can see how it's moving faster because it has some more ground it has to cover and it has to get to like a smaller position. You don't want to push this too much either because you can start to lose quality. But let's say you're more like, another way you can do this, I'm just going to take this off. Oh, not cropping, dynamic zoom. You can use a, so I'm going to kind of make this bigger. This will be our starting and ending point still. It's not going to really make a lot of sense in this use case because you could literally just do what I did. But there are times where you may not want to have to cut. For example, let's say you're doing like a podcast or something like that. You're going to be trying to think of the perfect way to explain this. Like you have multiple things you're cutting to, but you don't want to have to change the zoom speed all the time, if that makes sense. You can use this as a trick. And it just kind of helps you move faster. You'll have to kind of decide the way you want to do it, but I'll show you. But it's using an adjustment clip, which is something I use a lot. So you just want to search. Oh, it's probably my favorites, actually. Yeah. So I actually have it saved in my favorites, which is cool. Saving favorites is a good way to help yourself move faster, especially if you're new to Davinci Resolve. You don't want to have to keep searching for stuff. Once you find the effect that you want to use, I would just, if you want that you're going to use a lot, I would just go ahead and hit go to it and hit a star. It's super easy. Like literally, you just gotta find an effect that you want to use. Like I'll go to here. I see this Enhancer Pro. If I hit star next to it, when I go click on my favorites, so you have your toolbar here that has all this stuff. This is where your effects are. But at the bottom, you'll see something that says favorites, and it's basically telling me I have something favorited from the toolbox. I have something favorited from the Resolve effects. I have things saved from Open Effects, and I have things saved from Audio Effects. It's just categorizing it that way. So when you look at it, you can see, oh, what all from the toolbox do I have saved? And I can see the titles that I have saved, and it'll open up right there. The generators, it'll open there, the effects. This will make more sense as you start to use this more, but that's just to explain why it's laid out like that. But anyway, you can just go to effects and then come over to the right, and it just has everything listed here, and it breaks up into categories. So I have one of the Fusion titles saved as a favorite of mine. Generators, same thing. It just kind of shows you, what you're using. I'm using solid color. This is just stuff that I use a lot. I don't need to put this one here, but I just did that for an example. But yeah, that just kind of showed up. I added it. So anything you put a star next to when you search it, it will pop up here in your favorites tab. We want to get the adjustment clip. So I'm going to grab an adjustment clip, and I'm going to make it the length of that distance I need to cover. It's just another way to do it. Like I said, in this use case, you might not need it because the clip was already cut, but there's some situations where you could use it. Let's just say you just want like a zoom. You don't want to have to like every time tweak it. It has a good speed that you like. You just leave it as is. So I'm gonna turn dynamic zoom on, but we're not turning it on the clip itself, on the footage. We're using the adjustment clip, and whatever's under the adjustment clip is going to get affected by. Let me rephrase that. Whatever is under the adjustment clip is basically going to take on. It's basically going to take on the properties of the adjustment clip. So for example, if you do a crop, if you zoom in, I'm not zooming in on the footage. I'm zooming in on the adjustment clip. And you can see when you come here, this is one of my favorite ways to do jump cuts, or like repositioning, like quick repositioning. I could have just cut this and then put it there and cut it, but it's kind of a fast way, because then if you wanted to use this over one clip that's pretty long, and you want to create, make the illusion that you have multiple cameras, cut from wide to short, like a YouTube video, this is good. And I don't have to keep doing it. I set up the framing one time, and now I can just copy and paste this over the film, over the shot multiple times. Again, it doesn't make the most sense in this use case, but just to kind of, you kind of use your imagination with that. But going back to this, let's reset it. If you want to, I'm going to turn dynamic zoom on, and you can see that it's working. So watch this. Kind of from here, it started, but we don't want to do it like that anyway. I'm going to swap and now do it. And you see how I just kind of just started in there. And it's like, oh, okay. So that's kind of another way to get around. You don't have to do it. But since if you want to visually see it, what you're doing, you can kind of do it like that too, instead of just kind of having to cut it off. I wouldn't use all this anyway in this shot because this is not necessary. I'm just saying, if you had a shot that you only wanted to start zooming in on this part, but you wanted all of this to be here, you could do it like that, because there really wouldn't be another way to do it outside of keyframing. So if you want to keep the full length of a clip, but you want to have a zoom start in the middle of the clip, but you want to use dynamic zoom, the best way to do that is to use a adjustment clip. Yeah. In my opinion, I mean, you could cut it and do it that way too, but this kind of gives you some more flexibility. The other thing that's cool is if you wanted to basically make this go faster or stop sooner, you can just drag this and it's going to go faster because it has to cover that same distance in a shorter clip. And then if you wanted to pop out, you can do that. So, this kind of gives you some flexibility to play with. It's kind of a quicker way of doing it versus having to go through everything that we went through before with going back to this screen and then tweaking and then doing all that stuff. Again, there's not really a right or wrong. I'm just showing you another option if you run into a situation and you're like, oh, wait a minute. The dynamic zoom is not really working how I want it to work. This is a way that you could do that. So, okay, cool. Let me check the comments. Have we got any questions? No, we're doing good. All right, cool. Nice. So let's see. I want to check my list here of things I wanted to touch on today. Okay. Something else that is good to use. Oh yeah, we were still going through this. Composite modes, stabilization. Yeah, super scale. All right, no, we're good there. Okay, I'm not going to talk about those. You have your media pool over here, which you can make go away if you don't want to see it. But all my clips are laid out right here into this overall master folder. Your effects, I showed you that. I don't really mess with this index and sound library and all that stuff. As you start to add effects to your clips, you will see them basically populate over here. So I'm going to grab an audio effect just to show you. Let's go to my favorites. And let's just grab a limiter. I wanted to drag and drop this onto my audio layer, and I'm just going to close that out. I just wanted to put this on so that way you guys could see that now when you look over to the inspector, we now have the effects button has lit up. So now you can, make adjustments to the gain or whatever the effect that you put here, you'll see that show up for that. If you do like a, let's see, let's just throw binoculars on here or something. Same thing with video effects. I see that. I clicked on video first. So you click on your video layer, and it's going to show you all your video properties that you can change, but it also will show you the effects that you have on the video. So you can like play with that, tweak it, do whatever it is you want to do. Now, if I want to go to my audio effects, I just have to go, can I do it here? No. I have to click on the audio layer, and then it will show us the audio effects that we have, and we can tweak from there. So the inspector is where you're going to be doing a lot of your interacting with effects and things like that. Same thing if you have like transitions, you'll see those pop up. So let's go to video transitions, and we'll just do I just want to get something that's like obvious to see it do something. Something that's not going to be so crazy on the computer. I'm going to do a blur dissolve or something. We'll take this one off of here. I added this effect. So you see that there's something happening. It's like a blur effect, and it goes into that. But now when you look at video, back to the inspector, you see that we have a now the transition button is not grayed out anymore. It can be tweaked. So you can tweak the duration of that by seconds, and you can see it visually on the timeline getting bigger as I drag it, and then you can make it smaller. So if you want to be able to tweak it and do things like that, you can. You can also change what it's doing. So it says horizontal strength, I can make less. Vertical strength, I can make more, whatever you want to do. Start ratio, you can kind of change that around. End ratio, you can do it ease in and out. So you have a lot of customization with how this works. So if you put on an effect and it's doing something that you like overall, but you want to tweak it some more, you 100% can do that. All right. Cool. Got that going. All right. So next, what we got? That's there. Let me see. It's the grade. All right, let's check the list. All right, let's talk about some different edit modes that you can use in Davinci Resolve, and you can use these with keyboard shortcuts as well. But I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you like this, and let's go ahead and cut this up a little bit so that way it's easy to see. But if you came from Premiere, you probably would be familiar with something called Ripple Edit, not Ripple, the slip tool. It's not called that in Davinci Resolve, but let me just show you. You have your different, like, different modes that your cursor essentially will take. So the main ones, when the arrow's out, you have the selection. And if you hover over it, it will show you the keyboard shortcut for it, selection mode. You can press A and it'll switch to that. Then we have, which we're going to use, the trim edit mode. You hit T for that. If you want to use the blade tool to, do edits, to make cuts, you can. I don't make my cuts that way, but you can hit B or click on the blade tool. And this is one that, you will most likely be using a lot if you edit that way. Make your cut and then, go in and delete stuff, whatever the case may be. And we have a bunch of other ones. We're not going to touch on all of these. You have your snapping on, which basically just makes video snap to each other. If you don't want it to do that, you just undo it and it won't snap. It'll just kind of hover. It'll just kind of like easily just go over top of or erase something. Snapping makes it almost magnetic. So when I come here, it kind of like grabs to the edge of the previous clip and it doesn't automatically override it. I have to like really push it and force it to do so, but it's basically snapping to the edge of it, which is how I normally like to have it. You can link your audio and your video, or unlink it. So right now it's linked. So when I touch the video or the audio, they move basically together because they are the same clip. If I hit unlink, I can separate them and move them independent of each other. And you'll see this plus 912, minus 912. That's telling you how much out of sync it is. You just kind of pull like that and it goes back into sync. Yeah. But let's check see if we have any comments here. Let's see. We've got one from Ronmi9449. Can you show me L cut and a J cut? It's so funny. I literally was just thinking about that as I was looking at the timeline. But yeah, I can literally just show you really quick. Let me find a good way of doing it. Yeah, I'll use this scene. It's so funny that you were asked about that. So basically, for anyone who doesn't know, a J cut and an L cut essentially is just imagine a J and an L, and that's basically how you're stacking the video of one clip in relation to the video and audio of another clip. So I'll just show you what it looks like really quick, and then we'll go into how to actually perform one. And I can't tell you when to do it, but I can show you why you would use it, if that makes sense. Let's get rid of that. So just visually, we got that. I want to grab his other shot.
Hypocrite. Excuse me? You're gonna act like you didn't want this?
Okay, so what we're gonna do, we got two. This is the type of scenario you probably would use this in anyway. I need to listen real quick to see if I can match up these scenes so it makes sense as I'm showing you.
Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this. And the train only comes once.
Hypocrite.
Excuse me?
You're really gonna act like you didn't?
All right, let's turn this up a little bit so we can hear.
And the train only comes once.
Hypocrite.
Excuse me?
You're really gonna act? act like you didn't want this?
All right, so we see how we can see him say you didn't want this. That's the line we're looking for. I'm going to find it over here so we can match up, and I'll show you how this works.
Excuse me?
You're gonna act like you didn't want this? Think you're better than me?
You need to chill, man.
No, you need to stay.
Back off, man. Seriously.
All right. So these are generally the same spots within that shot, if that makes sense for some of the.
It's time I get away from all this. And the train only comes once.
All right.
I think so. It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this. And the train only comes once.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with him here. And
yeah, I think so.
Train?
Oh, hey, man. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me.
so he says, "Been fun, believe me."
But it's time I get away from all this.
He says, "But it's time I get away from all this." So I'm gonna use that as my part. I want to kind of like cover up, if that makes sense. And let me do this real quick, because this will make it a lot easier if we have different colors, because we'll be able to visualize it a little bit better. So if you want to change the color of a clip or something like that, it's super easy. You just right click on it, go to clip color. I'm just going to grab orange for this one. And this one we're going to make, I don't know, like lime green or something. We'll do teal. Okay, so we're starting here.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me see my mixer.
It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this.
It's been fun, believe me, but it's time I get away from all this. That's what we're working with.
Oh, hey, man. Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me.
All right, so this is how we do the cut, and it'll make sense. I'm gonna just cut it, and then you'll visually see a L or a J based on how we do this.
Yeah, I think so. It's been fun.
So he says, "Been fun."
Believe me.
But I want to get the other guy's reaction. So he says, "It's been fun."
Oh, it's been fun.
So what I'm gonna do is cut. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to stop doing that. There we go. All right. We're going to pull this over and overwrite that. Now, I did the color so you can see this. Hopefully this makes sense. This looks like an L. It might not for real. I'm going to try to make it look like an L. So this is the L. It's a chunky L, but it's an L. That's right? Wait, hold on. How you write L's? Yeah. So this is a L cut, essentially. The video from this one stops. The video from this one picks up, but the audio from the previous one is still going.
Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this. Pain only comes once.
Hypocrite.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to kind of chop this up a little bit, because I want this to come in sooner. And it's how you can kind of like tweak things, basically.
Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this.
Hypocrite.
Slow it down a little bit. Not trying to get perfect, but now that I'm doing it, I'm going to not be able to control myself and start trying to actually edit it. I'm just doing this for demonstrational purposes.
Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this. Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this.
Hypocrite.
Excuse me?
So you can see that's basically what an L cut is. I like to think of it as like you're kind of like borrowing the audio from this one and then going into this one, into the next shot. A lot of times you'll see it. This is a fine way to do it, but a lot of times you probably will hear people talk about it and show it when they're connecting one scene to another scene. It's still the same thing. It gets pretty creative when you can do that. Like you'll hear someone will like hang up, something will happen in a scene, right? And someone's like, "Oh, your husband just got in an accident," or whatever the case may be, and you'll see the wife out there and like, "Oh my God," and then she'll hang the phone up, and then the video will cut to the next scene, but then the audio you'll still hear like the ring out from the audio, if that makes sense. A J cut is like the reverse, where you hear the audio first from the previous scene. No, you hear the audio first for the next scene that's coming, and we stay on the other one. So I'm gonna try to see if I can show you guys that way of doing it too. But so I'm gonna do this.
It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this.
A J cut would basically look like this. I'll just kind of show you so you can see it visually. This is what a J cut looks like.
Time I get away from all this. Hypocrite. Excuse me?
Now it didn't work because he wasn't. Let me make a cut here. And then I'm also going to show you really quick the slip tool. And we're going to try to find him saying, "Excuse me."
It's time I get away from all this. Hypocrite. Excuse me? Hypocrite. Excuse me? Hypocrite. Excuse me?
Off a little bit.
Hypocrite. Excuse me?
You really gonna act like you didn't want?
So that's a J cut. And I know I made a cut in there, but I just did that so I could show you guys how it would work. But basically, you see this color here. So this is forming a J. So this J is coming in. So the audio from the next shot, we hear that first before we see it. And we still see the audio from the previous shot.
Hypocrite.
And I'll move this over so it kind of doesn't get confusing.
Hypocrite. Excuse me?
You really gonna act like you didn't?
It doesn't, that one's not working perfectly because it is technically, the scene is still together, but that's what a J cut does, if that makes sense. We've got another comment here. M. Regunis 314. This is what they use in movies to create tension in a scene. Yeah, there's all types of ways you can do transitions, build tension. It's all tricks, you know. It's never just grabbing the scene and just cutting it like shot to shot. You know, it's not always very linear cutting like that. One thing leads into another thing. You hear something before something strikes something else. Let me show you another way of doing an L cut. I mean a J cut, like the way that you probably are asking to see it. So you have a scene like this. We'll just pull this over. And then let me see. It's not how it's supposed to be anyway. Let's grab this. Let's grab the shot. Pull it over. So I can hear the knocking. If that happens, I don't even know. Slip. Okay. This is basically a scene. This film is pretty much like a drama that I shot when I was in college. She is knocking at the door, basically. So what I'm going to do this. I'm going to cheat it a little bit. In this scene, she looks. But before that happens, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is use the knocks to cue for the next scene. Because if I leave, I'll just show you. Because if I do the knocks and go to the next scene, it'd be kind of an L cut. We want to make this a J cut.
Camera speeding?
Okay. So she got the letter. So we're going to grab this. This is what I need. I I need that knock. And I'm going to slide this over and pull this. Oh, I got to change the colors again so we can visually see what we're doing. We'll do purple, and then we'll do, I guess I could just leave that, but it's fine. I'm already changing it. So now I'm going to basically pull this in, and we're going to do a J cut this time. And this is the one where it's like connecting scenes, if that makes sense. One scene leads into another scene. And you can see from here, it's a weird looking J, but it is a J. So this is going this way as a J. And the audio is leading us into the next scene first. And this shot looks crazy. So let me kind of fix this a little bit. I don't know what I was doing, why that shot was so crooked, but it was, and we just fixed it. Still off a little bit. Okay, we'll just leave it like that. Nice little moody, dramatic situation. It's like, oh, she's thinking, bop, 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 bop. But it would be bop, 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 and then the. Now I can cheat this a little bit because that's going slower. I want the door opening to lead us into the next part. So I'm going to cut it. So ignore the cuts in it. I'm doing that to get this to move faster. But the colors is what you're paying attention to. What the heck happened? What did I do to my knocks? What in the world is going on? Why is it doing that? It must be glitching out. Oh, I can do this too, though. I'll just hold it a little longer. But anyways, this is what a J cut is. And it basically leads into the next scene. So hopefully that makes sense, but that is demonstrationally in a very rough, quick way. That's what a J cut and an L cut are. And you can, doing the color helps because you can see it. But I should have left this as it was. Now I lost my L. Hold on.
Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me.
It's been fun, believe me.
Excuse me?
You're really gonna act like you didn't?
Got to pull this back so I can show you again. But yeah, so that's how you do the J cut, L cut. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. If anyone else has any more questions, feel free to ask. I'm just trying to set it back up so I can put them.
It's time I get away from all this. And the train only comes once.
Hypocrite.
Comes once.
Bring that on over.
Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me.
And the audio keeps going underneath.
Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this.
We don't want that yet. So I'm going to just grab this and then go over to the trim tool.
Yeah, I think so. It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this. Yeah, I think so. It's been fun.
You can shorten the gap between things too, make things happen faster this way. This is a good way to make things
Yeah, I think so.
move quicker.
It's been fun, believe me. But it's time I get away from all this.
Hypocrite.
So yeah, there you go. And that's how you can, it's a good way to condense time as well. But that is the L cut. So I'll put them side by side. And maybe I should have made the colors the same, but it's fine. You can see it. A J cut and an L cut. in this scene. I think I probably do L cuts the most, especially like when I'm in a scene like this. J cuts, not that you can't use it the same way that I did with this one, but they're like good. They're really good for these where you want to move on to a new scene and you want to use that audio cue to get you to the next scene. I think it's a good way of doing it because you can let the audio bleed in from the next scene and sit on the previous scene and just kind of carry over, especially if you wanted to condense it. Like if you're like, I like her sitting here and I don't want to see her turn and look, because she turns and looks. I mean, you could do it that way too. The knock, 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 and she looks, and then you go open the door. So it's so many ways you can do it. It's no right or wrong. Let's see. Got another question here from No Left for Life. 2843. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure it out. Do you use a keyboard or another peripheral device like TorBox? I do not. I have looked at the TorBox and it looks interesting. I'm just keyboard and mouse. I'm very low key. I do technically have a, what is it? The Blackmagic color panel, the color panel mini for when I'm color grading, but I have that at my at the studio that I work at my job. I have it there, but I don't use it when I'm color grading. I honestly don't even use it that much. I would like to start using it more, and devices like the peripherals, like a TorBox, do seem nice. I guess I just got myself so trained with keyboard and mouse that I haven't felt the need to have it. It's not that I wouldn't use it. It's probably a nice thing to have. It just hasn't been a priority on my list. But they look cool. I think I might try them out one day to see. I know a lot of people talk highly about using those kind of tools. I think it'd be cool, especially for like color grading. Because sometimes I will say when you're color grading, it gets annoying trying to do like small tweaks with the mouse. It can get kind of weird sometimes. All right, so we got that. We did. Thank you again for the question about the J cuts and L cuts. That was cool. I've never done a tutorial on those, so that was cool. Let's see. What else do we got? Let me check my list. Trying to cover a lot of things here to give you guys some good information, but again, we can go off script. I'm totally fine with that. If you have any other questions or anything. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, so let's talk about some of these, some of my favorite keyboard shortcuts, because keyboard shortcuts is definitely what will help you edit faster. And if you edit primarily, you guys can let me know in the chat, like what type of a video editor are you? Are you freelance, or do you work for somebody? Do you edit your own stuff? Do you edit for other people? Do you ever edit with the director in the room? That's a whole nother experience. And this is in the cases where it's good to be fast, because if you have a director over your shoulder watching you edit, it can be, depending on the relationship you have with the director, it doesn't have to be like a bad thing, but you also don't want to waste their time. And usually they're trying to see things quickly, and then they'll, make their little notes and then they'll kind of go on to do their own thing. But it helps just for you, for sure, to develop that. I can't tell you what keyboard shortcuts to use. Like, you have to determine that for yourself. But I can show you the ones that I use and how to set them up. If you click on, it'll be different if you're on PC. I edit on PC too, but I cannot remember exactly how. It's going to be similar. You come up to the top, find file or something along the lines of that. But you will be able to get to your preferences and all this stuff. You go to keyboard customization, and I have my own that I made, which I made this back in Davinci Resolve 18, but I still use it. It still works fine. So I haven't updated it in a while, but basically you can choose Davinci Resolve's one that's already in here. You can use Adobe Premiere. If you're coming for Premiere, this might be good. Same with Apple, and same with Avid and Pro Tools as well. The program is going to still be different, but they're trying to like make it, somewhat feasible to make your transition a little bit easier if you're used to using the default keyboard shortcuts that they have built in. But I made my own for how I wanted to edit. And my philosophy with editing, at least when I set this up, was I wanted to basically keep my movement very minimal. So my mouse is in my right hand because I'm right-handed, and the keyboard is it's in the middle. But I'm saying this is how I viewed it. Keyboard stuff happens with my left hand, and mouse clicks right hand. So my thought process was, and especially when I started editing music videos, I don't know why that was what clicked in my brain to do this, but it was like, oh, I can edit faster if I do this. My thought process was, if I never have to take my hand off my mouse, I can edit faster. And that's kind of how I built that philosophy. So there are things you can do, like people, you're like, oh, let me go hit this button. Let me take my hand off my mouse, and I want to scrub forward, so let me hit L. I want to scrub backwards, so let me hit J. That's close to the right side of the keyboard. So if you want to go like forward and backward, you'd have to do that. Same thing if you want to like move up and down with like left and right, like click through or move through clips quickly, you would use the arrow keys. That also is a right hand motion. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but my mindset was if you multiply all those clicks and over hours of footage and hours of editing, because I edit full time, so I do every day, I was like, how much time can I save if I never have to do that motion of putting the mouse down? I could do everything on my left hand. So that was the philosophy that I came up with. So instead of having to do that, I built my keyboard shortcuts to where I could do the same thing, but never have to move my right hand off my mouse. So I basically trained myself to say, okay, I'm gonna put this here to do that. So this like up and down motion that I'm using my right hand for. I'm holding my left hand up so you can see that I'm actually doing it. I'm using my right hand right now on my keyboard up and down to move through these clips like this, and it goes to each edit point. But I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to keep moving. I want to keep my hand here. So what I did was on the keyboard, I programmed 1 and 2 to basically be like the same as up and down. So 1 will go to the left through my edit points, and 2 will go to the right through my edit points. Again, not a big deal. You don't have to do this. This was just me. I was even so extreme with that. I was like, if I want to fast forward or scrub forward, I'm gonna set it so I hit Shift 2. So now you can see like it's going forward. That's me hitting Shift and number 2. Davinci Resolve will not do that by default. That's how I set it up. So you have to do it, do your own thing, your own way. But that was so I didn't have to take my right hand off my mouse and then go to the L key and then fast forward that way. That's like its default way of doing it. Yeah, so you just kind of learn your own thing. Another way that I like to edit fast is, instead of using the blade tool, which I can come up here and hit, or I can hit the beat tool and cut like this, go back to selection, get rid of it, delete it, and then do this. That was like so many keystrokes. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was like 6 keyboard keystrokes that I had to do. I was like, I don't want to do all that. So what I did, there's a button already, and there's a shortcut already. I think it's Command B. Is it Command B or is it Command B? Yeah, Command B. So you can use that. That's fine. I swapped it for myself. But if you hold Command and B on Mac, I think PC you have to hit Control B. But on Mac it's Command B. You see that it made a cut right there. I didn't have to go grab the blade tool. I have not used the blade tool in years. I can't remember the last time I actually used it for real. I just don't ever use it. And what I like about it is that it will make wherever your playhead is, it will make a cut. So you hit Command B And then I just did four cuts before. I just made 2. And then you can highlight, delete, and drag over. You can do that even faster as well. So instead of having to do that, so I have my 2 cuts here I made. I can highlight all of this, and now I'm going to do a ripple delete by hitting Command. You can do it 2 ways. You can hit delete on your keyboard, and it'll do that. But again, I have to keep my right hand on my mouse. I did this, and I hit Command D, and it make it a ripple delete. So I basically just did 1, 2, 3. I cut it literally in half. So what was 6 keystrokes I just made 3. So I literally cut it in half. So my mindset is like, okay, I just doubled my speed in that case. We can go faster though. So I same distance. So we're gonna do it like this. I'm gonna put markers here so you can see what we're doing. This is the section of time that I want to go away. Let's do this. Can I change the marker color? Okay, so make it red. All right, so this is, I know where I want to start at. So what I'm gonna do, there's so many different ways to do this too. I'm gonna show you a couple more. I'm gonna do my cut. Boom, 1. Now I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna just move this over, and then I'm gonna hit Q. You see that? That's ripple editing. So what was that, 2? So that's 1, 2 now. I did that in 2 keystrokes. I just took 1 down, so I made it even faster. Another way to do that, you can use in and out points. I'm not gonna say that it's necessarily faster in this case, but you can do it. I'm gonna hit I, go over here, I'm gonna hit O, and then I'm gonna hit Command D for my ripple delete. Bam. 1. I guess it's counted as 1. Oh no, that's 1, 2, 3. Yes, that was 3. So that's just different ways you can do it. So it's like you can use in and out points to delete things and get rid of things. You can use in and out points to copy. Like if you wanted just this, normally this is how I used to. If I wanted to like copy just this blue into the red section, I'd be like, oh, I want just that, and I want to copy it. I'd highlight it, cut it, and I would still think this is pretty good. I'm like, oh, I'm still doing it pretty fast. And then I would copy it, assuming I wanted it to stay there, maybe, and then I would hit paste over there. But instead of doing that, because now I don't like to do that, because if I wanted to come back to this and maybe grab another section of it, I have to now contend with all these edit points that are here. So I have to be like, oh, let me get rid of that and maybe pull this back, and it just starts getting messy. So I don't like to do that. So I want to keep it clean. This comes into play a lot if you're doing interviews. Like I do documentary filmmaking, editing. So I'll have a timeline that has the full interview, and I don't want to put a bunch of edit cuts on there because it's going to start making my timeline look really weird. And then I have another timeline that's for putting all the clips that I cut together to make it the actual film. But I want that interview to just be one clean video file that I can always reference, because I have to reference those interviews a lot throughout the film. And it'll just get very confusing if I'm coming constantly back to something I'm going to need to use that's all cut up with all these random cuts, and it's all janky. And I'm like, okay, I need this part and I need this part together. So now I'm like, oh man, I got this weird cut. So now let me pull it and then do this so I can get that part back. We don't want to do all that. We want to keep it simple. So we can do cutless editing. So I'm going to use the in and out point feature. I'm going to hit copy, Command C. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste it. And you see now I just copied that without making any edits, any cuts there. So now I have it right here. So that's how you do some cutless editing. So hopefully that stuff was helpful to you guys. I know I was moving pretty quick there. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask if you want me to explain something a little bit better. But I'm going to show you where This one is easy. That was in and out. So you just basically hit I and O on your keyboard to create an in and out point. So what you basically, that's easy. But to go, you go to preferences, keyboard customization, and I'm gonna hit Q, and it says, you can see right here, it says start at playhead. So this is what that ripple thing was that I did when I hit Q and it pulled everything back. Basically, it's like start to playhead. It's under trim. So yeah, go to commands here, trim, start to playhead. This is what I made it. I made it Q, and then into playhead is W. I will show you what Davinci Resolves is by default for those, because you can basically come in and change things however you want to change them. Okay, yeah. So that same thing I just showed you, which is called trim, is under trim, and you go to ripple, and it's called into playhead and start to playhead. It's a confusing command. It's like shift, command, and then like right bracket, and then a shift, command, left bracket. I was like, that's too much. I don't want to do all that. So that's why I use Q and W, because actually Q and W is kind of how it is in Premiere as well. And it's just an easier way of doing it. But you can basically find any keyboard shortcut you want to use here. So I would sometimes think about stuff I would want to do. I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if I could do this. Well, you can look it up. Timeline, razor. If you want to hit Command B, we did Command B here. We're going to discard it. I showed you before. That's how we did. That's how we did that. So you do that. Razor makes a cut wherever your playhead is at. I changed mine to be C because I just wanted C for cut. That was my mindset. So when you go over to your keyboard shortcuts, you're not stuck with the default. You can make your own. You come in here, and once you start tweaking things and changing, so I'm gonna come here, trim mode, and I'm gonna go plus, and I'm gonna say U or something. It will tell you if you're like about to if you already have something assigned to that, it'll tell you, and it said, do you want to assign this keystroke? You can anyway, but I'm gonna say no. Let's just do this. We'll do Shift U. How about that? And I'll hit save. I'm not gonna hit save because I don't want to mess up my other one, but I can create a new one. We'll say save as new preset, and I'll say YouTube test, and you hit OK, and now that's saved there. So that's your keyboard shortcut. So that's your personal one that you just made. And if you want to go back to one of the previous ones, you can. You want to go back to the one you had before, not a problem. The other thing that's cool is you can also export these. So I've done this a lot because I've bounced around to different computers. So you can export your keyboard shortcuts, and it'll ask you which one you want to export. So let's just say I want to do this one, and I can save it, and you can access it. It comes in as a TXT file, and you can always upload that, import that into Davinci Resolve again on like another computer. So you can kind of like have your keyboard shortcuts travel with you. So hopefully that makes sense. Check the chat. All right. Let's see. All right, let's talk about syncing audio. I don't know which one this is. Syncing audio is pretty straightforward, pretty easy in Davinci Resolve. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna stay on track. I'm gonna show you that first. Let's see what shot this is. This is 5G. Take 3. It's probably not named the same. What is this? Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to use this. I'm going to go to another project that I have because I don't want to spend time trying to figure that out. Oh, I haven't done that yet. Do I want to do that? I'm going to do it. I'm going to just go for it. I've been waiting to upgrade. I just took a big risk just now. That's a project I'm in the middle of working on, and I normally do not do that. And I just did it. So hopefully I don't mess things up too bad. Like I said, I normally don't ever do that. There's another film that I shot recently. Well, I directed and acted in, so I didn't technically shoot it. But yeah. If you come to a timeline to a project that you know has multiple timelines, but you don't see your timelines, super easy fix. All you got to do is come over here. You see like this little button here that says timeline view options. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to hit display stacked timelines. And now it's going to basically show me this. And I still don't see all my timelines, which is fine because I still have to open them back up. But as you come to a timeline, you can hit select timeline. You see this little caret here. It's going to show you all the timelines you have in this project. So I can start to pull them in essentially and see what we got. But yeah, this is a project we've been working on the channel, editing somewhat together. This is a while back. Obviously, I look different. I cut my hair. I was going to show you how to sync audio. So I did it this way because this is easier because this stuff's already here. So I'm going to grab this shot, pull it over here. All right, I'm going to unsync the audio. So I'm going to move this over here. So, you'd have to, know for yourself which clip is the right one. But this is essentially, you have to sync audio if you had like a, audio recorder that was recording separate audio than if you recorded audio separately from your camera, that's what that's for. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways to sync audio. There's a automated way of doing it. And then there's another way to do it if that fails for you. There's multiple ways to do it, but one of them I can't show you because we didn't use timecode for this project. Okay, but this is the video, and the video had audio because, scratch audio from the camera because cameras have microphones built on them typically. So you can hear it. I think, it's muted, so you can't hear it.
Okay, perfect. Humanities, 5, X-ray, alpha, take 1.
So you see that, you can hear that. I'm being silly. I'm the director. I can do what I want.
Has the new routine been beneficial?
All right. So now I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's definitely helped me focus. Let me turn this up so you can hear it. 'Cause I want you to hear the difference in the audio too. And so it makes sense why you would be doing this anyway. Easier to work and all.
I'm glad. You keep things so tidy around here.
We had someone reading the script that wasn't the actor.
Everything is in its place.
Yeah, those affirmations have really been helping. I'm close to the camera so you can hear it, but you can hear it kind of has like a roomy, sound to it. Like I said, I was close to the camera, so it's picking my voice up pretty well, but the audio doesn't sound great. But we did record separately with another audio device and actually use a professional microphone that's off screen. But now we want to put them together. So easy way of doing it in Davinci Resolve, you can highlight both clips, the external audio and the video and audio from your camera. And you can right click and then go to auto align clips. And we're going to use waveform and then use track 1 as a reference is fine. We're going to hit sync. And just like that, it's done. It works the best when you can hear the audio clearly, in my opinion. Or I should put it like this: when the waveform, when it's like a lot of distortion or like a lot of like background noise, it tends to go faster. If it couldn't pick up well enough the audio from the camera, it would like struggle sometimes. But you can look at it now and see that it's linked up. Or you can kind of look at the waveforms here and see that they're lined up.
Yeah, those affirmations have really been helping.
You see how it sounds kind of weird? I got two of the same tracks. It's kind of like doubling. So I'm gonna just deselect this. I'm gonna hit Control D and deselect it. And now I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, those affirmations have really been helping. Take a deep breath.
It's a little too loud.
Yeah, those affirmations.
Yeah, it's like distorting.
Yeah, those affirmations.
Okay, let me just go back to where I had it at. Apparently I didn't need to boost the audio.
Yeah, those affirmations have really been helping. Take a deep breath, stay in control, focus on task, and everything's whole.
So that's not the audio. That's not the original audio, but now it's synced up. Now, let's say you didn't have the option of doing it that way, or the audio was too low, it couldn't hear it, whatever the case may be, we still can fix that. This is why if you use a slate, if you don't use a slate, then you gotta get really creative. Just watch your mouth move or something. But because there was a slate that we used, a clapper, I can look at visually, I have a cue of it snapping down. So that made a sound, and I can see the waveform here. So I know that we have that.
Take one.
Now let me mute this. I'm gonna just mute the track real quick. I want you to hear it, and I'm gonna mute this one so we don't hear it. Well, let me just deselect it so you can actually see that it's not playing.
Alpha. Take one. 5 X-ray alpha. Take one.
It's the same thing as this, so nothing spooky or anything like that. That's all it's doing. It's just giving you a visual cue to sync it up later.
5 X-ray alpha. Take one.
You have a visual cue and an audio cue, basically. And that's what that does. So I can see the spike in the audio, and I can also hear it. So you can do that to line it up this way if the auto align does not work or fails you. And you can try to get it as close as you can. You might kind of play with it a little bit to really get it lined up. Then I listen for it to see if it's close.
Entities. 5 X-ray alpha. Take one.
So that's good. A lot of times if I'm like close, but like I want to see if I can get better, what I will do is I put like a marker here, and then I'll put a marker here. So I know those two line up, and then I can be free to move around without being concerned that I'm not going to be able to get back to what I had. So if I felt like it was off a little bit, I said, well, let me go this way and test and see if that sounds better. I know it's not. I'm just using it as an example.
5 X-ray alpha.
You can hear the echo, so you kind of know it doesn't work.
Take one.
And the double clap, we know it's not working. But I don't have to be concerned because I made my mark where I thought it was better. And I know, boom. Or if I like, I want to move over 2 frames, I can move over 2 frames, no problem. I like to give myself as many visual cues as possible to help myself out. That's kind of how I view it. And this is supposed to, yeah, there it is. A line pops up when the 2 markers line up, which is nice. And that can help you very easily get it where you want it to be. So that is pretty cool. That was a cool way to do it. All right, another cool thing I want to show you guys is how to quickly edit B-roll. And let me really quick check something. So I want to see how we're doing on time. Let's see where we're at. Okay, we got a little time left. Okay, so let's go back in. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys how to edit B-roll fast. So I'm gonna go back over to random clips because this will work fine. We got all these clips that are just super random. Actually, let me get rid of all these. Let's get rid of all of this. So I got all these clips here. And we're just going to pretend like we just did a shoot or something. Or we got all these random B-roll clips that, you know, for whatever reason we have them. Hold on, let me do this. I want to get the full clip. Did it give me the full? Yeah, I guess it did. I'm going to show you guys something else that's pretty cool. I'm going to move into some color grading things here in a second. All right. Oh, no. Go back. Okay. Okay, so let's see what we got. Got a comment here that says, Wango Lejo, are you using green screen? Do you, I'm not, no. Do you mean like with the video that, like with my camera right here, like how you see me? Is this a green screen? No. If that's what you're asking me, there's also not green screen in any of the footage either. I'm assuming you're talking about my camera. No, this isn't green screen. This is me, my actual background. If that's what you're asking. If not, correct me. All right, so we have all these different clips here. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna stay on track. I want to show you something else too, but I'm gonna stay on track. Yeah, I'll show you that too. We got these different clips here that we want to use for B-roll. Let's say we got a music track, and that music track has a beat that we want to cut all this B-roll to, and we know it all needs to be like the same amount of like time. And you got them like order. You don't even have to have them ordered out how you want them, but let's just say you have them in the order you want them. Like, oh, now I got to cut this all down and time it, and I got to do this, and I got to pull this over because they all need to be the same length. So I used to do this a lot. So this is, wow, when I figured this out, I was like, oh my gosh. Because I remember doing this one time for a project, and I was like so annoyed of how I was having to do it, because I was having to grab everything and do exactly what I'm showing you right now. And it was not fun, because it was so much footage to go through. It was like a conference or something I was editing. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was grabbing this and doing all this and then doing that, and which it worked, you know, it worked. We got it. Everything's timed out properly like it's supposed to be. And we could just flow into one thing and another thing. And let me make them a little bit smaller too. Let's just make it a little shorter. So yeah, let's just say that's how we want to, you know, this probably makes sense. You've seen B-roll before, do stuff. Okay, that was fine, but that took us a little bit of time. Imagine you have 100 clips to go through like that. You got to do all that for each one and drag them over. We don't want to have to do all that. We don't have to do all that. So I'm going to undo, get everything back how it was. You can undo and see everything, all the steps that we just took. It doesn't seem like it's that bad when it's that little bit of clips, but imagine multiplying that over 10 times. Well, I'm going to show you this, and it's just really cool. Highlight everything. So can I right click and do it? No, I got to go highlight everything. We want to go to, oh, sorry, my neck. We want to go to edit. Let me make sure I go to the right spot. No, I'm messing up. I'm skipping steps. Right click, and we're going to change clip duration. And I'm just going to say we want every clip to be, I don't know. Let's say we want every clip to be 10 frames. For whatever reason, we timed it out, whatever the case is. We know we need each one of these clips to be 10 frames. So I'm going to hit change. And now you see that everything became 10 frames. Okay, you see the problem we have here though? I was like, okay, I got it. But now imagine you have a timeline full of 100 clips and they're all spread all over a timeline. I got them all to be the same size, so I skipped one step. But now I'm like, well, now I got to grab all these and drag them together. You don't have to. And it's best, well, this actually isn't that big of a deal, but I would leave it highlighted, but if you were to mess up, you could just hit Command A and it'll grab everything. Now we want to go to edit and we want to scroll down to delete gaps, which also the shortcut is Alt G, but I'm gonna just hit it here. Ta-da! We just deleted all the gaps. And that's how you edit B-roll fast. That was a full-on game changer for me. And it worked in a situation where I knew I timed it out, so I knew like if all of them were like where they needed to be to land on the beat of the music. That's how I was cutting the B-roll. And you can always come in and tweak, you know, if you want something to go, I'm gonna show you this. If you want it to go like a little bit longer, you still can keep the position of how you want it. If you go to trim edit mode, and you could just kind of grab this and then push it over, and it's just pushing it. You know, everything is going to kind of stay where it was. I didn't erase anything or anything like that. But yeah, trim edit mode is cool because it has a lot of different. You move the cursor around your clip, and it will do different things. So like if you want to do the what is it called? The slip function, you can do that. And you can see at the top left and right, it's showing you how to like what the beginning of the clip is in the middle. This one's gonna be tricky because you can't really see it that well. He's not doing too much. This one will. This is sort of on the same one. When I go to the bottom, you can just move it over one. It's gonna take up this space. And like I said, you can like basically ripple it back too. And keep everything else the same. So it's cool because if you don't have that selected and you try to do that, it just rolls over the next clip, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to roll it over. We want to keep it in this place. We just wanted that to be longer, so we didn't have to do this, which I'm sure a lot of people have done. It's just, I'm telling you, just find all the different ways you can just. You just think of everything that's tedious and like, there's got to be a faster way of doing it, and you figure it out. This is really how I did this. Do you use AI in some of your workflows? Good question. If you mean strictly for editing, technically, well, it depends on what you consider, what you're talking about with AI. Like there's AI tools built into Davinci Resolve that I will use. Like there's like a AI magic mask that will automatically mask something out without me having to draw. So I use that. If you mean like in generative AI, not currently, no. I haven't used anything like that. Not to say that I wouldn't, I just haven't. I definitely am in the process of looking at different AI stuff for editing because I'm always looking for ways to help my process go faster. So if I could find like I know they have them for Premiere. I don't know if they have it for the Resolve yet. So I might have to just make one. I might have to make my own AI agent that can essentially like organize footage for me, set the timeline up for me beforehand. Like that's such a time saver. But yeah, the type of AI that I use. So like, let me think about it. Like you have one right here called AI Smart AI Reframe. It's not going to really make sense in this case. Let me see. It's not enough movement in this. I'll try it with this clip. Let's switch this to vertical. This is how you can turn your timeline to be vertical if you want to. Let's close this. I can't. That's right. It's different. I'm not a huge fan of how they make this work. Okay. So reframe, let's see. She's kind of already in the middle though. It's probably not going to work right. But you can do a reframe, and it's basically going to analyze the clip and frame it now that I put it in vertical. So this is technically AI. So stuff like this I will use. I use, and it actually did work. So you can see that it automatically reframed the shot to get her in the center. To get her more in the center. I guess I could make it longer as well, so you can get to see how it does. Let's analyze again. Pan only, reference point. We can just let it do its thing. But yeah, this is cool. This is something I would really start using more. because I do a lot of like cut downs and for trailers and things where I'll have everything cut for widescreen or for horizontal, and then I have to go and make a vertical version for like Instagram or social media. So having something like this is really nice. But yeah, so that's one of those AI tools that I don't use it that much, but I probably will start using it more actually, because I think sometimes I don't think about it that it's there, but it's a nice one. One that I use a lot, and I think I've hit most of the points that I wanted to as far as editing. So I'm gonna move over to do some color grading stuff. Oh, that's actually cool. So it did this auto reframe, but you can see here in transform that it's showing you what it did. So you could come over here and tweak it some. I'm gonna get rid of that. All those the keyframe animations that it added in there. Alrighty. Let's I don't know what we want to do. Actually, let's do. Oh my gosh. Let's just do this. Make it easier. I don't need everything to be cut down like that. These are clips that I downloaded, so if you want to play with this footage, you can. I'll have to link it after the fact. I used them for another video. But I think these were all on Pexels or Pixabay, one of them sites. What is that gonna do? What's that about to do? Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'll do it like this. Let's say we want to cut the horse out for whatever reason we want to do that. Let's go to the color page. This is for like the AI question. This is another thing that I will use, and I actually just remembered my computer will lag. So let me make this actually very, very short, because otherwise we'll be sitting here all day trying to watch this thing render out. I am in need of a new one for my personal. Okay. So we're going to use this one. We're going to go over to the on the color page here in the middle on this panel. You have all your different things here. We're going to use AI Magic Mask. I'm just going to go run through some. I'm glad you asked a question about the AI. I've been wanting to touch on some of the AI stuff that's in here, so might as well do it now. What we're going to do is make some points here. And I'm just going to grab some different. So like it's already slowing down. Come on, hang in there. It's time to retire this thing. I might not even need to do all this. But you can check your work by hitting Shift H. And it did a pretty good job there. So it has the horse. And this is one I will not apologize. I know people have their thing about AI. I would never apologize for using this one. And I don't think most editors would because this is a game changer. Imagine having to draw a mask point by point around this and animate this entire movement. No. Sometimes it's good to know how to do those things. And that's how we had to do stuff back in the day. But we don't got to do that no more. We can use this technology. Wow, even that one site, it's not even that long. My computer is struggling. All right, let's make this even small. Oh, is it moving now? All right, we're gonna make it even smaller because it is struggling. I'm gonna reset it, but it's really cool how it works. I use this tool a lot. We're gonna make it like 1, 2. What's going on? 1, 2. Oh, I see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll do like 10 frames. That'll be enough for us to see something. I think. It'll be fine. You guys will be able to see. go back to AI Magic Mask. You can do brush strokes too, which is what I normally would do. You kind of just draw around it and kind of get enough information for it to grab a hold of it. But you can also just use points, which was added into AI Magic 2. And you see it actually did it pretty well. Shift H so you can see what's being masked. What's gray is not being affected. But you can also invert this if you wanted to, and it'll switch it basically. So if you want to like cut the horse out, you could do that. But we're going to do it where we're going to cut the horse out of the background. Or if you just want to color grade just the horse. I mean, it's so many, you masked it. So now you separate, you can do it whatever you want with it. So let's go ahead and track that real quick. Come on now. You only have 10 frames to work with. It's taking a minute for 10 frames. I definitely overestimated the ability of my PC, of my Mac, I should say. I have to also remember the fact that I'm streaming as well, so I am asking a lot of it right now. And this is a very when you start using this stuff, you gotta make sure your specs are up on your whatever you're using your computer, because it definitely is very energy hungry. It will pull on it. So if you don't have something that's fast enough, make sure you upgrade your stuff before you start using these tools. I don't usually have to do a lot of crazy stuff when I'm editing smaller projects at home, but for work, it's where I'm using, the higher end PC and all that stuff. But I do need to upgrade my personal gear. All right, it's almost done. I can probably guarantee you guys that if you're editing on anything better than what I'm editing on, it will not take this long. So, take that with a grain of salt. It's not normally this slow. This has nothing to do with the program. This is my computer. I'm editing on a 2020 M1 chip MacBook Mac Mini. It's the first, I think it was 2020 or 20. Whenever they came out with the new M1 chips, that's what this is. All right, so we did that. So now we have the horse cut out. Just make sure. Yep, Shift H. We're gonna add in an alpha node. If you ever want to cut something out, this is how you do it. Add alpha output right there, and you just drag here, and then boom, it cuts it out. So if you ever get confused and you're like, why is my background still here? It shouldn't be anything there. That's how you do it. And for those of you who are wondering, like, oh, why did you do that? It was for this reason, because now I can do this. I can have the horse be in this scene. And maybe I want the horse to be in the background. Oh, that's not doing what I shouldn't have done it like that. That just messed the whole thing up. It confused it when I did that. Ugh. And I have to retract that. That sucks. Let's stop that. But anyways, that's how you do that. We'll move on. Let's see. Another question. Can you edit between PC and Apple with Davinci Resolve? Do you mean, if you mean, yeah, I'm going to say yes, but you can clarify if I'm going to tell you what I think what you're asking. If it's not, you can correct me. But yeah, you can edit. Okay. Yeah. You can edit in both programs. So I think what you're saying is, like, if you have a project, would you be able to have that project on Apple, and then would you also be able to open it on PC? And yes, you can do that. There isn't a problem going between Davinci Resolve on PC and Mac. You can communicate. Like, you can send the project files back and forth. If that's not what you were asking, let me know, and I can try to answer your question appropriately. Okay, we're just going to stop it. But you can see I have another background here. So if you wanted to change the background out, you can do that. Not that you would do it in this situation, but you can do that. I'm curious about something though. If I wanted to, see, the thing is, when you move it, the fact that it loses its key, or loses the mask, really shouldn't be that big of a deal. But it's just because you can always redo it. but because this is like struggling so bad, I have another idea. Well, anyways, I don't need to do all that. It's fine. You guys get it. You see it. I'm doing too much. So that's how that works. You also have like where you can remove. Let's say we want to get rid of this logo, which is probably won't be the easiest thing in the world to do. I'm picking a hard thing to try to. Yeah, this is probably not going to work, but we're going to try it. We have object removal. I'm going to just do like 2 seconds of this because my gosh, this computer is. I'm going to do like 2 frames of it. 1, 2. Literally only 2 frames. Well, I'm due. Try to do 1 more frame. Okay, we're going to do that. Okay, cool. It looks like I was right when what you were asking for. All right. So we just make it super easy on my computer here, so we're not struggling too much. So what I'm gonna do is draw a mask first. So you come over here. You have all your different selection tools and things like that. I'm gonna pick on the circle with the 4 little circles, and that's window. This is your mask essentially. You have different types. You can do a square, a circle. You can do a pen tool. I'm just gonna do a circle. You click on it, the big circle appears, and you can just reshape it how you want. Make it smaller. Guess I could have done a square, but it's all right. All right, now what I'm gonna do is track that. So it holds that section. So it'll be basically where we want it to be. So I'm gonna track that backwards and forwards. Fast track because it's only 2 frames. So now it has that motion tracked. So I'm gonna go to object removal, drop it onto that node that we have the same node with the mask. And then I'm going to do a scene analysis. It's analyzing the scene. And you see this gray box popped up. Oh, see my dad's in the chat. Shout out to my dad, Jonathan Barnes, 1104. You see that wing gray. So basically, this is where we want to the mask, the plate to be at. So you can play with all these things. We're going to come back to that in a second, though. What I'm going to click on now is internal. We're going to hit. This is the plate. We're going to hit build clean plates. Ugh. And this is what it came up with on a first pass, which isn't too bad, actually. Let me do this. So we got rid of the logo. It's not, obviously you can see that it's like aberrations happening here. So we need to play with it, but it wasn't too bad. We can go through and like tweak it. It just went by so fast. It's only 2 frames, that's why. But yeah, so that's how you would go about removing. And that's also, I'm showing you things that are like AI, you know. I didn't do anything to make that happen. That's the program doing it. But you can do different blend. I can do it in an adaptive blend to see how that does. It might get better. I can say your search range. I can make it less so it won't pull from different things. Boundaries, I can change that. So let's try to build a new clean plate and see how it does. It did a little bit better. Click it again. At least that looks a little bit like, I probably would like roll with that and then maybe try to like color it differently right there. You could do external, and external did it. it got it. I should have started with that. Because it pulled from what was outside of it. And look at that. The logo is now gone. So that's pretty powerful stuff. Pretty cool. And I would play it in full motion, but you guys have seen how my computer is going. I need to get a new one. Oops. But yeah, so those are the things I usually am using in terms of AI. So thank you. Going back to what we talked about originally, thank you for asking about that, because that's like the way I use AI in my work. Not that I wouldn't use other things too. That's just how I've been. Those are the types of AI things that I will use. Something that's a cool way to, like, let's say you want to kind of like change the color temperature of this, or like kind of tweak this, maybe you want it to look a little bit more naturalistic, and that as, oops. This was shot, however, what has happened with my computer? It's like spazzing out on me right now. This was shot however the person wanted it to be shot. This isn't my footage. This is footage I pulled off of a free stock site. But let's just say we wanted to kind of like, maybe we're like, it's too warm, it's too peachy. Not that that's bad, but let's just say that's like, you want it to be a little bit different. So we're going to call this the hero shot. Shout out to Kazi on YouTube. That's where I got that verbiage from. He's a Davinci Resolve user who does color grading and stuff. Let's give ourselves some real estate so we can see what we're doing. Go ahead and boom. All right. Hero shot there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just throw some nodes here. I'm going to throw down some nodes so we can do our thing. And what I'm going to do is, like, let's just say we wanted to, we're only going to really adjust like the color, like our white balance. So I'm going to just say like WB for white balance. And what I'm going to do, actually I can delete these. I don't need these to be here. I'm going to right click and then go down to gamma, and I'm going to go to linear. So we want to change this node to linear. There are a bunch of technical reasons why this is what it is. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just going to literally show you how to do it. So that was our linear color, like balance, color correction. And you want to come to your primary color wheels. And now when you're on primary color wheels, you want to use your gain wheel. And this is what we're going to use to basically tweak the color balance. And this is a good way of doing it because it just makes it's kind of like an easier way of it. So if you look at your scopes, you can kind of see there's a lot of red in there. It's up pretty high. You also can go down to your vector scope, and the skin tone is actually not that bad. It's actually in a good spot. But we just want to try to balance this out. There's all types of ways to do this, but I'm going to start pulling things around. You can kind of already see here, this is starting to look more like natural. Like, oh, if I imagine someone outside daylight, this is kind of what I would think to see. We kind of cooled it off some. And I like this because it's not overly sensitive, and you can pull it and push it and pull it how you want it to be. But this is more like, oh, that's like balanced, how I would perceive it versus where we were. That's what it was, which makes sense because it's like, it looks like it's sunset, so we're in golden hour. But this is more like if you want to cool it off some, and maybe I push that a little bit too much. Pull it back a little bit. But it has more of a, neutral, is what I would say, neutral color, not overly warm. I'm going to grab a still shot and open my gallery back up. And we got a still right here of this one. And I'm going to turn this off. And then I'm going to give myself some more space, first of all. We're going to go click on this, follow where my mouse is at the top of the viewer here. We're going to hit image wipe. And I want to click this one. And then you can see it off and on. So you can change how it shows up, how the wipe shows up, and how it mixes. You can like mix it. You can show it different ways. Like if you want to see just a small square lines, however you want to compare it, checkered board situation. I'm going to do the side-by-side wipe because I can do this off and on. So this is where it was, which looks fine, looks cool. But this is what I did. And not that there aren't different ways to get to this, but we got there really, really quickly. I didn't have to mess with a lot of stuff. You saw how fast I did that. And that's because we switched our node to be linear and mess with the gain wheel some to get there. Now we have that saved here. I'm going to name this one. I'm going to label it, change the label to linear. I'm going to say linear gain, just so we know what that is. I'm going to reset my node, and we're not going to do linear this time. We're just going to start playing with stuff. So like, you might say, this is too warm, so let me cool it off. So I'm going to come to my temperature on my color wheel. And you can kind of look over here at your parade, and you can see this, like, it's starting to like balance out. It's bringing some of the red down, the blue's coming up. But it's already not looking that good. It looks kind of like overly pink. So I'll come to tint, or overly magenta, and I'll add some green in there. So we want to bring the green up, level it out. You know, you're kind of getting there, and that's not bad. I mean, it's like, you can like look at that and say, okay, yeah, it's pretty close to what you did in the other one, possibly. But let's go ahead and grab a still of that, and let's compare. So, yeah, why didn't you grab a still of it? We're going to pull up the image wipe and put this one here. So let's see. The one on the left is what I did with the linear when I showed you where I changed it to my gamma to linear and went to my gain wheel. So I pulled it and stuff. That's what this looks like. This one is what we just did. And it still looks kind of peachy, actually. Not as much as it was here. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I'm doing the wrong thing. Hold on. Let's turn this off. This is what we just did. Why is my image wipe not showing up? Okay. There we go. All right. This is what we want. Okay, so the one on the left is what we did already. So it does look somewhat peachy, but it looks like it looks like it's like the colors are falling naturally, in my opinion. This, we got it to not be as punchy as this one is, but you see like the greenish hues in there, which could be fine. Like it's fine. I mean, honestly, I'm not mad at that. Like I wouldn't really be that mad at that, to be honest with you. But I like how this one looks too, though. It just has more like, even her skin, you know what I mean? It just feels more natural. Like I don't feel like there's green in there. Even looking at this side of her face here, we come over, it just feels like it just cooled off in a more natural way. I see some green kind of popping through in her eye here. There's just a lot more I would need to do, in my opinion, to get that right. That's where it was. That's what we did. This to me just feels like, oh, you just did that in a very, like, you just, and the whole point is we got there so fast. Like I just was using the gain wheel and got there. I had to do two different things, and I still don't feel like I'm there all the way. Because I'm like, all right, well, now if I really want to try to get it like this, let me keep tweaking it to really get this looking right. So maybe it's too green. Let me add a little bit more magenta in. And it's like, well, I don't really know if that's it. And now I also feel like it's a little like saturated. So now I'm coming over here having to mess with the saturation a little bit to try to get that to not be as punchy. And then I have to decide, is it the overall saturation that's doing that? Is it color boost? Like, there's a lot of things you got to play with. Again, it's not wrong. But then I'm like, okay, well, should I come here and just start trying to grab colors? And it's like, okay, I can do that too. I can do that to try to get things to be, but I'm messing with my gamma. Is it in my lift? Is it in the shadows spots? You see how all the stuff I'm doing to try to make it look like this when I already did it with one like wheel setting. That to me is, the main reason why this is the way to go. So turn that off. Again, that doesn't look bad either. Even with me just messing around with a bunch of random stuff, I'm not mad at that at all. It looks cool. Like you wouldn't even think anything, but because we did this one, I'm like, huh, that just feels nice, you know. And it still kind of keeps the beachy vibe of this one. I don't feel like I changed. Like it just seemed like I just was like more naturally like shooting on camera, changing my white balance versus I'm now in post adding pink and green to try to, you know. This has a little bit of a contrasty boost look to it that you might like prefer, but you can always do that too, you know. But you can do that in stages, just so it has that creamy kind of vibe. That still feels the same as this. I don't feel like it changed like the overall feeling of the image. All right, let's see. Shout out Quiverful Production. Shout out Will. What's up, bro? But yeah, so yeah, that's what we're looking. That's what we're looking like. That's why I like to do the linear gain thing, because it and let me just show you again how I did that, because it'd be easy to forget it because it's not a simple thing to do. But all you're doing is right clicking on your node, you go down to gamma, and then you click on linear, and then that sets up your log wheels to work, or your primary wheels to work properly. So you come to gain, you don't use gamma, don't lose lift, don't use offset. You come to your gain wheel and you start tweaking stuff. So that's how that goes. Let me see. I think I'll do maybe one more thing, and then I'm gonna call it. Let's see. What do I want to do for color? Let's do some. I think I did this already, but I'm gonna show you some different ways to tweak color. So this is a very blue heavy scene. We're just gonna punch in here a little bit. So let's just say you're like, the blue's cool, but I want to kind of change it. There's a ton of different ways we can do that. I'm gonna throw some extra nodes down here. First, I'm gonna start with colors. All right, I'm gonna start basic. I'm gonna do one HSL. I'm gonna do one color. I'm gonna say CS. CS is for color slice. And what do I want to do for the other one? Oh, my neck. I'll think of it if it's another way I want to even try to mess with. I don't know how else I would tweak the color, to be honest with you. I'll think about it. We might just need these two. HSL. So HSL, for those who don't know, it basically stands for hue, saturation, and luminance. You might hear people talk about that a lot when they're talking about color grading, especially like in Premiere or in Lightroom. They'll say use your HSL sliders. We don't have sliders in Davinci Resolve like that. So what we're going to do is come to our curves. You want to click on this one, and it says Curves Custom. So we don't want to stay here. This is how you like do like your little your contrast curves and play with like your S curves and things like that. That's how you would do that. We're not doing it. We're not using it for that though. We're going to come over to our other curves, and it pulls up our hue versus hue. So that's your H. It pulls up our hue versus sat. That's our S. And it pulls up our hue versus luminance. That's our L. H, S, L. If you didn't know before, now you know. That's what that is. So you can, I don't like to just say, oh, it's blue. Let me change. The blue's the color I want to change. So I'm going to just hop on blue and start changing stuff. I like to actually click on the color in the scene and let the program tell me what color it is. I'm not going to tell it. I'm going to let it tell me. So when you're here already, you're good. You just click here. You'll see this eyedropper tool pop up now. So I'm just going to click on his blue jacket, and it highlights this section of color. So if I want to change the hue of the color, this is where I'm at, and it isolated just that section. So if you go just play with it. I can't tell you up and down what colors you're going to get. You just kind of have to play with it, and then you'll see. But you see, as you go up, it starts going more green, and orange, yellowish. You get some artifacting. It's not clean because it's like we're pushing it too much. So you don't want to push things too far. You want it to stay natural. So you want to do a little bit so it's not looking too fake or too artificial. So you're going to want to push the colors that are like relatively close. I mean, you can change it to be any color you want it to be, but you'll start seeing some weird stuff happening. But we're just going to make it a little bit more on the purple-ish side. So we got that. And I think if I want to, I can grab more sections. Yeah, I can expand that out some more to try to even that out. So you can grab some more areas. But as you grab more, you see now that our blue colors or aqua colors in the back now have changed to be purple. I mean, that's okay if you wanted to do that. That's just because you pulled in more. But it does help this look more natural. So it might not be a big deal. There's ways to fix that, though. You could cut him out. You could mask him out. So that way it's not affecting the rest of the background if that is a issue for you. I'm going to throw down a marker right here. Why am I not seeing my marker? Okay, there it is. And I'm going to just kind of scrub through this clip. And you can see how it affects everything else. So now everything has been affected by what we did here with the hue versus hue. And you can play through and see if anything looks too crazy. Actually, only the fact that it's not natural, but everything looks okay to me. I don't see any weird artifacting. So if you want it to be very like, this has a very like fashion, like cologne vibe going on. So if you shot something and know you wanted things to be a certain color, make sure all the things that you want to be that color are the same color, if that makes sense. And you can do it in post pretty easily. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, now they have this purple vibe going on. Before and after it. That's where it was, and that's what we just did. So that's how you change the color of things. So things that are like the same color throughout are easier for sure, because it's not like a weird thing happening. We can go to hue versus sat, and maybe you feel like it's too saturated. Same kind of thing. You just click on it, and I'll just kind of grab some more points. It's actually got it fine, so I don't need to really grab anything else. So I can pull the saturation down. So I can pull some of that color out. Oh, his hood, that's what I need. I'm going to add another because I see that it's not grabbing it. But if you wanted to pull down the saturation, you can also do that. You can scrub through. And something you could do too, which I think I'm running into an issue is because I changed the color, so I was having a hard time grab it, is you can do all that beforehand. But that's how you can, and in HSL, if you want to just change the luminance, same type of thing, grab that and you can make it brighter or darker. We're going to go brighter and make it really pop. And that's what we have, like this steel purple vibe going on. And if you look closely around some parts of the image, you can see some weird artifacting happening. So, I wouldn't push it this far. That's just to basically showcase what it can do. So that's just with using HSL method. We're going to turn that off. I'm going to show you now how you can do a similar type of situation with color slice, which I really like the color slice tool. Especially if I'm going to have a multiple colors I want to tweak in a scene, I'll use this sometimes, but you can do a lot of stuff. So whatever the color is, we're going to kind of guess. You got to play with this some because it's not going to be a color. Well, I'm going to say this. One of my pet peeves is when people tell me when they are telling me a color note, it's pet peeve of mine. And I need to probably be okay with it because it just is what it is. People will say, oh, it's too this color. Take out this color. And I'm like, don't tell me what color to take out. Just tell me what you see and I'll fix it because it may look like that's you. It may look like a certain color to everybody. but the computer's not reading it as that color. So you telling me to take out this color isn't helping. Like, just tell me, yeah, it looks like it's like this. Oh, cool. Tell me what it looks like. Don't tell me what to remove. That's a little pet peeve of mine, and but that's just to let you guys know as you're editing, color grading, someone may give you a note. It's not that the note they're saying is wrong. Take the note, but you don't have to do exactly what you don't have to. If you can get to where they tell you to get to, do it how you need to do it, because they may not understand what you have to do to get to where they want it. Just get to where they want it. And if you're trying to do something specifically, a way someone tells you what to do, if they don't know the program, they can say, hey, the shadows. You might say, okay, well, technically it's not the shadows. I need to play with the gamma, or I need to play with the lift. You got to make the translation on your end. So that's all I was saying with that. Let's see. What plugins do I use the most? I am so basic. I said I tried to say that word yesterday, and I could not say it. I'm very basic. I actually have been trying to force myself to use plugins because I want to get more into them. It could be because when I started editing in Davinci Resolve, there really weren't that many plugins. Like, it was still kind of early. Not early, but there's a lot more plugins now than when I first started editing with Davinci Resolve. I'll put it that way. So I kind of just built the habit of just doing things on my own. So I don't really use many, but there's a lot of, I'm going to do a stream at some point on some plugins. I have been thinking about that because that's a great question. And there are some amazing plugins and some amazing creators out there who have done some cool things that make things easy for editors and stuff. There is one I will show you that I do have a DCTL that I haven't really used that much, but it's one that people talk about a lot for color grading. But let me just show you this real quick. So basically, you have to figure out where this is. So you have two slides. You have red, skin, yellow, green, cyan, blue, magenta. You have color density, and then you also have the saturation. So I'm going to first find this. I know it's probably in some cyans. There it is. So you can kind of adjust the saturation and pull it down. This is a really good one because it hits that exact channel. And then I'm going to assume there's probably some blue as well. Yep. The darker parts are blue. A lot of parts are cyan. The colors look fine in this image already, but let's just say you wanted it to be. Color density is one of those things that's really nice to use, especially for like filmmaking. It just helps your colors just look. It gives your colors just more of a weight, density. They don't look overly like playful, like video-ish, like super bright and punchy. I like to mess with the color density a lot. It like will tone colors down without having that mess because you might not want to lose your saturation. You want to tone it down, but now now I'm losing the color. So color density is a good way of like toning it down without losing your color. But yeah, so that's what I like to use that for. And I can go for like a darker, moodier vibe, which just looks really cool. And just kind of makes the blue like, ooh, it just puts it in a good spot. And I kind of like that actually even more than just what that was. It just like adds some weight to it. Then you can pull the saturation back a little bit if you wanted to, but I'm cool with it. You can mess with the skin, tones, a little bit. He has red in his skin, I believe, looking at him. Yeah, he has red in his skin. So you can kind of push that up, saturate his skin some more. Most people will have red or magenta. Some might have yellow. It just depends. But yeah, so that's how you can do that. So that's two ways of messing with colors. To answer your question for plugins, there is one a DCTL. So not technically a plugin, but DCTLs are basically like the plugins for color grading. And this one's called the $24.99. And what you would do is just grab it, drag it, and drop it onto your image. And you want to go to effects. Oh, wait, I messed up. Hold on, let's reset the node. It's not a LUT technically. I know it seems like it's a LUT, but it's not. we want to type in DCTL first, because this is going to be like your DCTL controller. So I'm going to drop it in, and don't drag and drop like I did. That was wrong. You click on DCTL here, and then you can have a list of however many DCTLs you've downloaded. And it's basically just like preset slider situations that people make to do certain color adjustments that are not by default in Davinci Resolve. So that's what I'm considering as a plugin. It's a DCTL is basically plugins for the color page. But you can play with a lot of stuff here. So you can, your color density, you can play with it here. I was just kind of showing you that. And some people like to use this because it kind of like gives you a good starting point. You can get all your colors here easily. You're not having to jump all over the place like I just was. But you can tell it like input Davinci wide gamut. Sure, that's fine. Well, or log. Let's just leave it here. That I can tell it. Yeah, output is going to be BT 1886. Says yeah, Rec 709. So yeah, all that's fine. Log input. So yeah, we could do that too. And then just play with it. Wait a second. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's, you know, this one you don't have to use. It's just, I was just showing you one that I have in here that I have used. I don't use it that much though. So I'm just kind of playing with it right now to try to figure it out. But it's one I've heard is popular. A lot of people use this one. So that's kind of why I pulled it up. I haven't really worked it into my use case yet, but for footage that wasn't already like colored and stuff, it would probably be easier to do things with. Let me try it on this one. See what it looks like. So punchy. You got to get your settings right. Yeah, we want that. Okay, there we go. $24.99 log. So we'll do $24.99 log on and off. So the reason why people like this one is because it gives you a good starting point for your color, which just looks pretty cool. So now we can kind of come in and pull anything back that we don't want. Like if we want to like for your color, and you have global blend as well. So if you wanted it to, I like it though because it does add some extra like boost to this, and it pairs nicely with the color that we did here to balance that out. It actually looks pretty cool. You know, so that's a cool plugin. I thought I could adjust, but it's just colors I can play. It's really just playing with colors more so than messing with like exposure or anything like that. You would still need to do your exposure settings separately outside of this, but you can play with colors. But yeah, its starting point was pretty nice. And basically all I did was I cycled through the different inputs. You know, Davinci wide gamut, and then you got linear, that you can do ACES and all these things, every log. If you like how that looks, it's based on like what camera you have, but if you're just using it like this, you can just play with them until you get something you like. But I liked how going with the $24.99 log looked on this. It just worked. It just paired well with this footage. But yeah, so hopefully this was helpful to you guys. If you have any more questions or want to see more stuff, please join the Discord. That's a good spot. I'm going to actually pull a link for that and drop it. It's actually in the description of this video. I already have it. So if you go to the description of this video, you will see the link to the Discord. But you can basically go there to stay up to date on when I'm going live. If you have questions, you can ask me questions. Me or someone else in the Discord who knows the program can help you and talk you through stuff. It's a community I'm trying to build up now. So feel free to come in, ask questions. and let's get it going. We can start helping each other, sharing ideas. If you have plugins that you want to share, we can drop them there. So definitely check out the Discord. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for me on this one. Thank you all for being here so much. Shout out to everybody who was here. This was a great turnout. Thank you for all the questions, all the comments. You guys have been amazing. That's going to finish me out for today, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.